This is lesson 2.1, guided practice. This is page 34. And the idea here is to try as many of these problems as you can on your own, and then check your answers, or if you need a hint, that'd be fine too. So question number 1, Leah is sewing vests using 16 green buttons and 24 blue buttons. All the vests are identical and all have both green and blue buttons. What are the possible number of vests Lee can make? What is the greatest number of vests Lee can make? So the first thing I want you to do is to list all the factors of 16 and 24 and then to circle the common factors. Factors of 16 include 1. It's a messy one. Let me start over. 1, 2 goes into 16, 4 goes into 16, 8 and 16. And if we wanted to use our rainbow method to check our answers, it's going to be 1 times 16 and 2 times 8 and 4 times itself. And these spaces are extraneous. You didn't need them. Some kids get tricked by that, but you just don't need those. So I'll just leave them blank. Now the factors of 24 include 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. We could use an underline, an upside down rainbow method to check that we got all our pairs, and we do. So that ends up being a little bit messy, so I'll erase those lines, but that helps us make sure that we got them all. Alright, so the next questions read, and they're kind of repeat questions, the next questions read, what are the common factors of 16 and 24? Well, those are the ones that I forgot to circle. 1 and 1 are common factors, 2 and 2, 4 and 4, and 8 and 8. And so those are the common factors, 1, 2, 4, and 8. They're common to both lists. And this next question is asking the same exact thing in different words. What are the possible numbers of vests Lee can make? Lee can make 1, 2, 4, or 8 vests. The next question reads, what is the greatest common factor of 16 and 24? Well, that's the number circled farthest to the right. It's going to be 8. And what is the greatest number of vests that Lee can make? It's the same question. It's 8. He can make 8 vests. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So questions 2 and 3 are these problems where we take these numbers and we write the sum of the numbers as a product of their greatest common factor and another sum. So the first thing you do on 36 and 45 is to find the greatest common factor. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to list the factors of 36 and 45. And maybe you could do that mentally, but I'm going to list them out anyway. Factors of 36 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, and then we could do our rainbow method here. It's going to be 6 times 6 is 36, 4 times 9, 3 times 12, 2 times 18, and 1 times 36. So that's all the factors of 36. Now 45, we've got 1, and not 2. 3 goes into 45. 4, 5 goes into 45. 5 times 9. It's going to be 3 times 15. And it's going to be 4 times 45. So what is the highest number that's in both lists? 1 is in both lists. 3 is in both lists. 9 is in both lists. And that's the greatest number there. So the greatest common factor of 36 and 45 is 9. So the 9 gets pulled out, and that's going to go first in our bubble. And then the second number here is what makes this true. Well, 36 is the same as 9 times 4. And then 45 goes here. 9. So this 9 right here ends up being the first bubble for both of these terms. And to make this true, 9 times what makes 45? It's going to be 9 times 5. And then what we do is we rewrite the 9 on the left and we write the sum on the right. It's going to be 4 plus 5. And that's all you have to do. If they gave us one more set of bubbles, it would be 9 times 9. 9 times 9 is 81. And we could solve, we could check 36 plus 45 is also 81. All right, let's go ahead and try the next one. And on this one, I'm just going to use like a multiplication chart to get my my GCF kind of fast. If you look at 75 and 90, you'll notice they're both in the row of 15s. And what that means is that 15 goes into both numbers, and that's the greatest common factor of both 75 and 90. The more we practice this, the more some of the greatest common factors will just pop into your mind. But then you can use a multiplication chart to check. So just like before, what we're going to do is we're going to put 15 on the left as the left bubble for both of these terms, and 75 is going to be 15 times something, and 90 is going to be 15 times something, and you can use your multiplication chart to check that. 15 times 5 is 75, and 15 times 6 is 90, and so then we factor out the 15, and we rewrite the sum here as 5 plus 6. If they gave us more bubbles, we would write this as 15 times, we would add 5 plus 6, we'd get 11. And what I can assure you is that 15 times 11 is the same thing as 75 plus 90. That's all that we filled in all the bubbles, so that's good enough. All right, essential check-in question. Describe how to find the GCF of two numbers. Well, the simple way to do it is to list all of the factors of each number, examine the list, and circle the greatest factor. I'm going to go back and revise this to examine the lists and circle the greatest factor appearing in both factor lists.